Alright, and we're back again, looking at another older Joseki and some newer variations that you have as an alternative or simply to add to your repertoire. As always, I will warn you that just because I'm looking at old ones and showing you new ones doesn't mean the old ones are now bad. I'm just trying to give you more options so you have a better range of things that you can play in your own games and keep your games new, fresh, and exciting. So, alright, as we see here, today we're looking at a low approach on the 3/4 stone. And once again, we are returning to our beloved 2-space high pincer because in my opinion, that's probably the most common pincer that we are going to find, especially as amateurs. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, taking my cue from my students again, I notice a lot of this return of the diagonal. Not my particular favorite opener, because I like what white gets here an awful lot, and I find it a little bit difficult for amateurs especially to find out how to equalize this exchange. This exchange where white's getting a lot on the bottom, white can still develop the other side, and we see this really, really low, just aiming to settle sort of deal in the corner. I do like to give my students options, things they can do instead of things that, maybe don't make them the most comfortable in their games. So let's look at some more newer variations than the simple diagonal. Well, here's a faster bit of play, but we can actually lean on this particular stone. And this is actually going to wind up expanding into a lot of different potential variations here. Let's keep it simple. Most common response is probably going to be to drop to extend over. Same for black. White can easily jump, which white's fine with because we can go back and play here. Now this might look very, very unusual to you because it seems that all we're doing is inviting this really, really strange idea of getting ourselves cut to ribbons. I'm sure you are all familiar with the concept of emo-go and how you should not just be inviting your opponent to cut you. Well, this is actually a pretty strong variation because no matter how hard white struggles to kill everything, it just can't happen. As we can see here, if this stone is killed, well, we can sacrifice it and then take the stone. Sacrifice, Atari, take stone. Pretty easy variation. Very easy variation. Very, very, very easy variation. And not a variation that white typically ever wants to see on the board ever again. So alright, we're apparently not going to do that. So instead, white's going to protect. Black gets to Atari. White gets to Atari. Now, black is alive in the corner. It doesn't make sense to do something like this because we're just going to be kept low and uninteresting. The game's probably going to end very, very shortly because we can't undercut this stone. This can still be driven very far away, so lots of influence. Stone's undercut, no good. Instead, we cut directly, take yet another stone, and I guess now white gets to maybe ladder this. But these stones aren't really all that interesting because we don't really want to keep giving our opponent free moves, right? I mean, sure, go ahead, take a framework, and then take another stone and expand the framework while white only captures these three. Can extend for more of a surround, but now the option of escaping is always available as an option. So this isn't something that usually sits very well with white. White simply saying, that's done as is, I'm going to go and play something else. Now, black can laugh and cut through here quite easily. stones are being captured. You can see them. Those two stones right there are most assuredly captured. Stones, all gone. But that was Gote, and now white gets to play another move. So those two stones are not really worth all that much. I mean, sure, corner for black, okay, but that's way too early to play. So it's typically white's job to decide when that's no longer allowed to be played. And when that's no longer allowed to be played, can go ahead and connect, because it protects the cut. This is now very, very good and immediately gets you the one stone. So black has to respond, again later on in the game, which allows white to extend. So pretty easy variations for both sides, as long as you know the danger of the cut, why you probably shouldn't do that immediately, and remember to protect it later on. As long as you remember those little things, this is a pretty good, solid, and very, very simple variation for you. But alright, let's assume you're playing an aggressive player, and they see your small knight and decide to cut you immediately, because they aren't going to let you get away with pushing them down on the third line. Oh, no, 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 no. They're going to try to kill you and do really, really bad things to your position. Well, as long as we do not Atari here, and let's say attach instead, then everything's going to be okay. Because white typically can't extend, because it gets really, really difficult to handle both stones as white. White instead has to protect. Black says, I don't want to get surrounded. Black says that my cutting stone can come back to life unless you capture it. So white does, allowing black to settle. Now that right there is a little bit hard for some of you to see, and you might encounter some people who are like, I don't have to respond to that. I'm gonna play over here or something. Well, the trouble with that is this move right here is brutal, because we can't Atari down. That just about kills the corner, as you can see here. Doesn't matter like how you play this, we can still jump out, and now what's this? That's gotta live somehow, otherwise we're totally in trouble. And now the stones in the center are seriously in trouble too. So, bad news bears all around. So the only thing that really makes sense there, I guess, is to play this way. But the trouble with playing this way is almost about the same as what we just saw. We get massive amount of influence. We have the cutting stones that are a clear target. In exchange for what? Third line territory that we can still even reduce? I mean, that's completely fine, right? That's a fine variation for black. So it's not at all slow to kill off that cutting stone. In fact, it is in fact a must. We have to kill off that cutting stone, unless we are insane. So alright, that has to be played, which allows black to settle. So those are some very, very easy and relatively modern variations for you. You can lean, it's going to either extend, or it can cut through. The only other variation is what happens if there's something like this instead. What if we play this variation, and instead of playing out what we thought was going to be played out, the jump, we extend again. What if white does that? Then what do we do? Do we still play here? No, absolutely not, because that's just going to die. So we extend, and we still can't do that, so we extend again. And as you can see now, we're getting a lot of influence. The result of that, well, let's just go ahead and Hane. The result of that is we can see this enormous wall and this little stone which is entirely too close to it. So we have the option of going back and attacking, cutting it off, doing whatever. Because generally speaking, when you've got a huge wall, you need to be really, really respectful of it, depending on how large it is. Because you don't want to get it cut off and wind up under attack. Because you can see if we do, let's just say, split this immediately, sure, why not? Well, this is still not past the wall, right? So we can envision some kind of settling here. We can easily envision white having the pressure applied still not past the wall. So what? More pressure? Just a flat out cap? I mean, these aren't things that you really want to see happen to your group, especially in the beginning of the game, because you kind of feel like you're at a bit of a deficit now. You've got the weak group, you're struggling to run away, and you can see that there's development taking place even while you're struggling. It's just not a very good thing. So this can be played. But it's going to wind up being one of those running fights where it looks like, in my opinion, especially at lower ranks, where black should be at a clear advantage. So, once again, I hope I've given you a few more modern variations to add to your game. Once again, I'm also instating that just because maybe you play older variations does not make them bad. Just trying to give you some more new ones for you to have and enjoy in your own games, so you keep them nice and lively and new and fresh and have you still enjoying the game. So, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you again next time.